What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Tim, back with another video. Just out walking around town. I dropped my car off at the shop early this morning, so I got no wheels for the day. So everything on my list to do today, my errands and everything I got to walk to, which is cool. It's good exercise. And it takes me back to my roots when I first started nomading, first started traveling. I didn't have a car. We did a lot of walking, and I kind of, loved those days. Less responsibility, didn't have to pay to get your car fixed. But yeah, I'm enjoying just walking around. But I figured I would turn the camera on, take y'all with me. It is a beautiful day here in Bozeman, Montana. Let you see some of the sights. But I don't want to talk about today in this video. In this video, I want to talk about the future. I want to talk about the future, and I want to say to everybody out there, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't get down. I know what you're going through. I know how you feel when you look at the world around us and then you think about the future. I know for many of us, we spent most of our lives looking towards the future and thinking positive things. Past couple years, we really haven't been able to do that, okay? Because what we do as humans is we basically take a snapshot of like what the world looks like around us at the current moment, and then we usually like extrapolate what the future could look like. This is normally what we do. And for most of us, most of our lives, the present was pretty good. We might have went through, some issues here and there. The economy got bad for a little bit, other stuff. But for the most part, life was pretty good. So when we looked at the future, we usually had a bright outlook, unless we were depressed or sick or something like that. But the past couple years, this has changed, okay? And trust me, I know what you're going through. I know how you feel. A lot of things that we thought we were going to be done dealing with are still here. And then it seems like other things are popping up and they're getting worse. I mean, you turn on the news, which real quick, folks, only watch as much as the news as you need to, or don't watch any news at all. All it does is depress you, get you down. If you want to really be fearful about the future, watch the news. But no, it just seems like on the news and everybody's talking about, you got floods, you got wildfires, you got the pandemic, and then when something comes along to maybe like help the pandemic, there's different versions and different variants of the pandemic that don't seem to be working. We got different mandates coming into place and restrictions that some people are all for, other people aren't for. It just seems, people are at each other's throats, and so many other things. So many other things, and it can just seem like when you take a look at that, and then look towards the future, that the outlook is very bleak, that the outlook is not bright at all. But I just want to say, hang in there, folks, because the future might quite possibly be brighter than you could ever imagine. The future might possibly be better and brighter than we could ever imagine. And here's why I say that. I say that because I look back at history. And one of the things I've been pondering on and focusing on that has helped me get through these times is the fact that throughout history, humans have always gone through like these trouble periods, okay? Throughout history, there have always been times when things got really crazy. I like to use the example of like World War II. Can you imagine what the people felt in the end of the 30s, beginning of the 40s, as the world was going into its Second World War? Like, imagine if you were born in like 1900 and you lived through World War I. You were in your late teens, early 20s when World War I ended, okay? You get all the way through that, and 20 years later, the world is about to start up another one. Can you imagine just like how bad someone would feel? Can you imagine how down they would be, especially if you already lived through a world war and you know what it brings, you know what it entails? Can you imagine how you feel seeing the world heading towards another one of those? But what happened? Yes, World War II was sad. Yes, there was millions of lives lost. Yes, there were some unspeakable horrors committed that we still talk about to this day. But morning. But we got through it, right? We got through it. Humanity survived. We got through it. And then if you look at times like the 50s, I know at least in America, the 50s was like one of our golden ages. We got through a very dark, depressing time period, and we came out the other side with a level of prosperity that was unknown in this country for the average man and woman. Got through the dark times, the good times came. And if you look throughout history, this is what you see. There are dark, desperate times, and then on the other side of them are positive, good times. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. One of the things you learn about this universe is pretty much everything goes in a cycle. Everything goes in a cycle. It's just like birth is a cycle all the way back around to death. You know, an old person looks almost the same way a baby looks when it comes out the womb. It's just one cycle. The world goes through cycles. So it looks like we're probably on the cusp of some interesting times. I don't like to say bad times. I don't like to say horrible times. I just like to say I think we're on the cusp of some interesting times, but we will get through it. Humanity will survive. It always does. I know there's some people out there who's saying it might be the end of the world, things like that. I don't know. I personally don't think so. I don't think this is where the human story ends. We just have to endure these times, and we'll come out, and I promise you, we will probably come out in a better place than when we went in. You know, maybe all the stuff we're going through now is needed to correct some of the issues and mistakes and the problems that are in play in the world right now. Maybe we need a cleansing. Okay, maybe some not so fun things have to go down so that from now and, you know, for the next 100 years or so, life will be decent for everybody on the earth. Who knows? Who knows? But I just don't think that this is it, folks. I think we will come out the other side of this if we hang in there. If we don't give up, I think we will come out the other side of this much better. And I also want to mention, too, that a lot of times when we're thinking about the future, we don't think about the unexpected good that happens in life. Once again, we look at everything that's going around, and we typically focus on the negative. We're good about doing this as humans. We look at everything around us. We typically focus on the negative, and then we come up with like our outlook for the future. What we almost never do is think about like the unexpected good that happens. I mean, if you think about it, so much of the good that's happened in your life was unexpected. You didn't know it was going to happen. Okay? Be that, you know, the person you're married to or the person you're in a relationship with. A lot of times, you know, you got a good job. It just came out of nowhere. You just happened to like know the right person, or you happened to like drive by the place and saw it. Or, you know, it's just so many things in life. You were driving around and you happened to find, you know, a nice car for cheap and you went and bought it. You know, so many wonderful things that happened to you in life happened just by chance. You did not plan. You did not foresee it happening. Unexpected good. And this happens to all of us each and every day. In fact, I'm always saying there's more good in this world than bad. And I think a lot of that is unexpected. We don't factor this in when we're thinking about the future. But please know, like, the universe has not changed. It may seem like our lives has changed. It may seem like our world is turned upside down, you know. And for some people, it really has. There are a lot of people far worse than me and far worse than a lot of people, a lot far worse off than a lot of people who are watching this video are. But the universe has not changed, and so this element of unexpected good is still there. And I personally like really appreciate this because, how you doing? Because it's one of those things that like all I can do is kind of think about the future based on what I know, but I get a good, warm, fuzzy feeling when I realize that there's things in store for me in the future that I have no clue about. There's good things in store for me in the future I have no clue about. This makes me happy. Whenever I'm kind of down, I just realize, hey, Tim, there are some good things that are going to happen to you in your life that you have no clue what they are. No clue what you are. And since you have no clue what they are, I can't factor them into my equation. So no matter what equation I come up with for the future, it's going to be better than I think it's going to be because there's this unexpected good. It's out there, folks. It has happened to all of us. It's real. It is going to happen in the future. Not to mention, too, folks, even though I'm not like the biggest fan of like technology, because I know as human nature that when we come up with technology, we typically find a way to like do something bad with it. We typically find a way to like harm other humans with it. So I'm not the world's hugest fan of technology. However, I will say that a lot of things we're going through right now that might seem insurmountable to us now, there's a possibility that there could be a technology in a year, 2 years, whatever, that could change it. You know, a lot of people talking about climate change and, you know, the world weather seems to be getting out of hand and out of control. This is true, but who knows if as humans we might not be able to come up with something to fix that in the future. Who knows? Or we will adapt. That's another thing we kind of forget too, is that we as humans have the ability to adapt unlike any other organism that we know. We as humans can adapt to almost any situation. No matter what the future brings, we will adapt. Now, a lot of times we don't want to adapt. A lot of times we want things to stay the same, especially if we like our life now. A lot of times we want things to stay the same when we don't like our life now. That's the ironic thing. That's the ironic thing. A lot of people have lives that aren't all that great and they don't really like them. But when the thought of change comes around, they like hold on to this life because they would rather have like a mediocre life than like deal with change. But it looks like we're going to have some change in the future, folks, and we will adapt. Now, we can't see how we're going to adapt because we only adapt when we have to. And we're not going to know how we have to adapt until that situation comes along. So instead of being like super fearful about the future, I like to dwell on, hey, I know good things are going to happen. I know whatever happens, we can adapt. And I know throughout history, there has never been a time period of just craziness that lasted forever. I don't care how bad things got in the past. I don't care how many people sadly lost their lives. I don't care how much war and turmoil and sickness there was, how much death there was. Things always got better. Things always went away. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Will the world maybe look different than it looked in 2019 and before that? Probably. Will each one of us probably be somewhat different people when this is all over? Probably. That might be a good thing. We are going to do some growing in these years, folks, that like we on a level like we've never grown before. I honestly believe the growth in the next 2-3 years in my life and a lot of other people's lives is going to be great. It's going to be great. We may have to take some bruises and some bumps and some knocks to get that growth, but I think the growth is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. If it wasn't for all the pain and suffering that's going on in the world now and might go on into the future, these will be some of the best times to be alive because we are seeing things happen that other people have never seen. We are alive on earth at a time period where there's rapid change, so many things happening that no one who lived before us has ever seen. It's a great time to be alive. And if you don't focus on the negative, if you look for that light at the end of the tunnel, which is there, it's just a matter of getting to it. If you focus on the good that's happening, if you focus on your friends, your family, your loved ones, if you just tell yourself, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. And you just focus on that, because at the end of the day, either you're going to get through it or, you're going to be one of the casualties. I say this to myself all the time. Either I'm going to get through this or I'm going to die in the process. If I'm going to die in the midst of this, I might as well enjoy myself now. You know what I mean? If I'm not getting through this, I might as well be happy and enjoy myself now. And if I am going to get through it, why worry about it? If I am going to get through it, I don't have to worry about it. All I have to do is just endure, keep the right mindset, and just enjoy myself, help other people, be there for my loved ones, and just focus on the fact that this too shall pass. And the future might end up being better than anything we ever imagined 5 years ago. Anything we're imagining now. We might look back at this time and be like, you know what? Those were some hard times, but man, was it worth it for what the world is now? So those are just some positive thoughts I wanted to share today. Hang in there, folks. Like I said, I know it's rough. I wake up some mornings and just don't even want to get out of bed. I've been there. I get it. But you got to keep living your life. You got to look toward the future positively because that's what keeps you from giving up. Anyway, I'm Tim. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.